Remember yesterday? Remember when I was happy? Remember when I was excited about a horror film? Yeah, that was yesterday. Let's talk about that. What's going on, Dungeon Dwellers? Welcome back to Dave's Dungeon. Got a little race car sound in there. Dave's Dungeon. Anyways, I am your host, as always, the one, the only, Dungeon Master Dave. Where do you start with this one? So we're back today. We're supposed to be reviewing the film Censor. Um, Usually I review these things off of 5 categories. Count it 5. That is plot, special effects, tension, gore, killer, victim as categories. So, what does that mean for this film? Well, boy oh boy, where to start? It wasn't good. It really wasn't good. And if I haven't said that enough, this movie sucks. I mean, sucks. And I'm not just going to say that, the whole time. I do have points to make, but this movie sucks. Okay? It's bad. Don't watch it. Don't do this to yourself or your friends. That's the first thing I'm going to put out there. I effectively give this movie a 0. You fail. You you didn't even come close to achieving the prompt. Go home and rethink your life. As a horror movie, you are a disappointment to all of us. Go home. I'm sorry. Plot is 0. Censor receives a movie. Our censors are getting movies during the nasties, which is in the 80s, when in the British. Fuck it. I'm going straight into spoilers, kids. I don't even care. I don't even care. It's movies driven me there. It's ridiculous. I swear to God, if I want to watch a B movie, I'll put on a B movie. And I don't mean a grade B movie. I mean freaking B movie with Jerry Seinfeld. I'm hot. I'm hot about this movie because um I can't with this even. I can't even. I've actually reached the point where I freaking can't even. Okay? There is no plot. There's no such thing in this movie. There is a random series of occurrences that you cannot tell me are in any way justifiably related to one another. It didn't happen. You're lying. The beginning, it's it, it's there's a reason at the center of this little thing over here that you see on this. Let's, mm, you see it over there. You see that? You see that little thing in the center there? It says Sundance Festival. I should have known when people said, "Hey, Dave, you should check this one out." By the way, if you hadn't figured out, this time it's your suggestions, kids. Let's see how many of these make me want to brain myself by the end of this. Yeah, someone recommended this film to me, and I just want to say, no, you. No more. No. No, you. Okay, not doing it. Let's go to special effects, of which there are none because this is made on a British budget. No special effects. None. They were using red food coloring and soap foam. Not even. That's usually not a problem for me. I usually don't care whether they have a special effects budget or not, whether the special effects are good or not. It would have been nice if the movie did anything. For those of you who are wondering how long I'm going to take the piss out of this thing, about 5 more minutes before I wrap it up and sign off. Tension? What tension? The tension I had during this movie was watching the runtime while it ran. There is no such thing as tension. The one supposed murder that happens at the beginning of the film does not create any tension. I don't wonder about it for longer than 2 minutes of the hour and 38 minutes of this hellscape. The rest of it is watching someone watch B movies. Not even watching B movies. You could be watching B movies. You could be watching Birdemic or Birdemic 2, The Aftershock, of which I am a fan of and have watched before and would have watched over this movie. You could be watching The Room. The Room could use your view right now. Hell, anything but this. And look, the whole censorship thing and the 4:3 and the 16:9, the different diopters of view and all that sort of thing. I'm up for viewing that. I'm up for considering that. I'm up for enjoying the meta commentary and meta analysis of what makes a horror film and what doesn't and all that jazz. But first off, you have to actually be in the business of even suggesting what a horror film is, because you would have had to have actually seen one, because you wouldn't have put this together if you actually had. This feels like somebody who's never seen horror making a horror film and going, well, this is what horror's about. It felt bad the whole way through. And then it felt like I was getting to one of those movies like The Witch, where you're building up and you're building up and you're building up the tension and you're building it up and you're building it up and you're building it up until apparently it's supposed to connect and come to this ultimate moment that then carries the rest of the movie all the way out. And I ask you, if one of your eyeballs is going this way and the other one's going that way, where are they going to connect it? This movie does that. It actually does that. The girl gets cued off of not her sister, but somebody who looks like her sister. And then gets convinced that it is her sister. The villain in this movie is the movie. I don't buy that it's the girl and that she loses her mind from watching B movie schlock. That's bullshit. The only way this movie drives you insane is by making you sit through it. The gore, why would you worry about that? There are so many other higher order concerns. My overall score for this film is a fuck off. 0. If you wanna watch it, go for it. I mean, if it tickles your fancy, come back and tell me. Come back and review it. You know what? If you wanna really see this film, please go watch it and tell me, "Dave, you really were harsh on this thing. It really wasn't that bad." I might still wanna punch you. I might still wanna hit you. But that being said, I'm not gonna take up any more time. This film already wasted an hour and 38 minutes of mine, and I don't recommend you let it waste one of yours. So that being said, thank you so much for joining me for this review, bloodbath, beating of a dead horse. Thank you so much for joining me. If you found some sort of enjoyment out of that, please leave a like. It would really help me and help the channel. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you get notifications for when I do silly random stuff, and you'll know when it goes up. But thank you guys so much for joining me on these adventures, Dungeon Dwellers. I look forward to seeing you on our next journeys. Till then, sleep tight.